go. There we go. Let's go ahead and get this day started. We are talking about the topic of expireds, how to become masterful in this particular department, how to go after this source, how to make the most of it. The season is absolutely ripe right now. So I'm going to encourage you to please pay attention, get your notes, get your notepads, voice notes, any and every single last thing you can do, because I am giving you guys everything in regards to what it takes to capitalize on this. So yeah, let's continue to pick up with where we left off. We have been talking about how we can maximize, of course, that of the expired source. So yeah, let's continue with where we left off. Before we do, though, of course, as always, I want to encourage those of you that are over on YouTube, Facebook, on Instagram, on TikTok, on all the other platforms. First off, welcome. Thank you guys for being here. I always appreciate you guys being part of the audience. I'm going to ask of you of one step, if you can, join us over on Zoom. It gives us the opportunity to better interact. And if you can't, that's okay. No worries. Stay where you're at. Go ahead and type in your questions. We'll get all of your questions addressed. But if you can make your way over to Zoom, what's the benefit? Well, we'll get the opportunity to role play. And for that matter, you can go ahead and voice your questions and get a direct answer. Excuse me. So let's go ahead and get started. We've been talking about creating two focal points. Okay. I want to talk about mirroring and matching and the importance of all of those things. But I do want to talk about very quickly the focal points. Now, as I mentioned, the two focal points, there's a couple of factors we want to take a look at. Number one is you want to see focal point number one, which is that of your top 3 zip codes. So think right now, where you're at, what are those top 3 zip codes? What would you actually be going after? Okay, now for some of you, it's like top 3 zip codes. Well, that's 3 cities. For some of you, top 3 zip codes, it's like, that's not even half of a city. Your second focal point is going to be that of your top 3 cities. Why the separator? The reason for that separator, the primary reason for that separator is basically to create a couple of different attacks of strategy. One of them is, for example, expire day, and then not too far around the corner, which is going to be on Monday, I think it is going to be expire day junior. What are those days? So on expire day, if you're averaging about 8, 10, 12, I know Chris Lyon was joining us the other day and he said he got 15. Well, there's a very good likelihood on expire day for Chris in that particular situation. He's probably getting 60, 70, or 80 expires on the first. Why? Why is that? Because there's just kind of this natural tendency. Think about when you took your last listing. Most agents, what do? They finish off the rest of the month, and therefore there's a lot of expires at the end of the month. Therefore, the first is where a lot of expires show up. Expire day junior, same exact idea, same exact philosophy, exact same everything, but people will round it up to the 15th. Therefore, there'll be another handful on the 16th. So the exact same example that I was using with Chris on an average day would be 15. He'll likely get 60, 70, or 80, almost times 4 on expire day. On expire day junior, which is the 16th, he probably would get twice as much. Okay, so there's always that little extra bump. So now when you are on these days in specific, what I want you to do is I want you to go after either your top 3 zip codes or your top 3 cities. And how do you know when to go after what? It's going to be kind of that variance. Ideally, you want to stay within 10 properties within that. So the example that I gave with Chris the other day, he had 15. I said, okay, here's what I want you to do. How many were in your top 3 zip codes? He said probably about 4 or 5. And then Chris, I don't know if you're here, but if you are, thank you for that. He said about 4 or 5. And then I said, okay, well, what about in your top 3 cities? He said about 8 or 9. Right there is where I want you to park. Right about that 10 is where you want to be at. And the main reason for that, if you remember what we were talking about, is you want to call them 5 times. Round 1, round 2, round 3, round 4, round 5. I'm not going to break that down. I did plenty of that already. But in that, when you're going through, as I'm asking of Chris, let's separate those 8 out of the 15 on those days, or just for that matter, I think that was just a standard day. And of those 8, let's call those first. Round 1, round 2, round 3, and then dump in the other 7. Why is that? I want you to paint the picture. Stay with me. Okay, I know this is a lot of an analytical of a response, but there's 15 properties. And of the 15 properties, there's about 3 phone numbers on average. So there's basically 45 phone numbers for 15 properties. It's on average about 1 minute per number. So in that particular situation, it's going to take about 45 minutes to an hour in that first round. Now, in that, we also talked about the time that we call them is important. So by the time he's done with that first round, it could be 9 o'clock. And then he gets to that second round, and then by the time he goes through that, it's now 9:30. So in other words, there's a lot of resistance. I want it to be more efficient, is what I'm trying to accomplish. Okay, so that we're on the same page. So in that, now we go in, go through, identify the 8, 3 phone numbers, 24 phone numbers. Again, stick with me. So the 24, he's going in about 20, 25 minutes instead of 45 minutes to an hour. And then the second round, he's doing it in 15, 20 minutes. So do you see how it becomes more efficient? So by the time he gets to done with that second round, he's probably about 40, 45 minutes in. So now he's already dialed through the higher priority versus just kind of throwing everybody in the mix. Okay. And then, of course, followed by that third round. Here's another reason. This is the second strategy behind going after the 2 focal points. You're going through, for some of you, 736 Pacific Standard right now. You're either preparing your phone numbers, you should, or you already prepared them, and you're about to dial the numbers here in about 20, 25 minutes. As you're going through, you're dialing the numbers, you go, boom, there's one of my top 3 zip codes. Let me print it. I'll explain why. You dial another property, another property, another property, boom, there you go, top 3 cities. Print it. You dial, you dial, you dial, boom, another one, top 3 zip codes. Print it. You're done going through your dials. Basically, there's 9 properties as an example, and of the 9 properties, there's 3 of them that fall in those top 2 focal points. The reason I'm asking of you to print them is because I want you to grab those pieces of paper and guess what? Go knock on the doors. And why am I telling you to go knock on the doors? The reason I'm telling you to go and knock on the doors is because your competition over the phone, I don't care where you're at. I was formerly just outside of LA, about 30, 45 minutes outside of LA. And now I'm in a smaller city, basically in the city of Visalia. Competition level is way different. Okay, where I was at, there was probably about 200 properties, 200 people that were calling on these properties. Where here, maybe there's 40, 50, or 60. So in that, there's less competition. Now, why is this important? Because even when I was going after doors out in Upland, Rancho Cucamonga, Fontana, Ontario, Pomona, Diamond Bar, Chino Hills, all of that area, I was probably competing with 2 to 5 realtors at the door versus 200 over the phone. Think about that. So would I rather have 2 to 5 realtors that I'm competing with, or would I rather have 200 realtors over the phone that I'm competing with? Now, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying don't call. I do want you to call. You have to call them. But if you take an approach based on what I talked about, as I say, for all of my coaching clients, 2 doors a day will keep the creditors away. So if you go after 2 expired doors based on what I just shared with you, you're going to end up with somebody. You're going to end up with someone that's going to be on their side of the door. They're saying, you know what? Yeah, we're frustrated. We wanted to get over to San Diego. We don't know if we're going to put the house back on the market. We'll let you know. We're thinking about it. We're going to go back with the same agent. What is it that you're going to do different? You're going to get all of these responses. And that's why we're here. And in this, what I'm doing is I'm giving you the methodology. I'm giving you the ideology behind everything that asks to how to approach them. But the second half of this is to what to say. And that is what you're going to do that's going to differentiate from your competition. And that's why it's important to show up here every single day so that you can master this. I get it. There's so many people that are out there, so many coaches, there's so many people that are talking about with what it is that they do. All I ask of you is 2 things. Number 1, have they experienced it and done it themselves? If they don't have the resume, be careful who you're listening to. I've proven to you my skill set. And number 2, from a coach's perspective, do they have the resume based on the people that they've coached? Now, I don't know. I think I'm a pretty good coach, 26 millionaires in the last 15 years. And that's not to say the other hundreds of realtors that, and for that matter, lenders and commercial agents, of course, that have gotten into the mid to high 6 figures. So be careful who you're listening to. Now, going back to the methodology, and I'm going to open it back up to the audience, and I want to talk a little bit about the mirroring and matching and the importance of that. When you're going out there knocking on 2 doors a day, 5 days a week, that's 10 properties. Here's what's going to happen. Okay, I know this. Okay, you're going to go out to 10 properties, and these 10 properties, you're going to go and knock, knock, knock. There's very likely going to be only 3 or 4 that are going to open. That's it. Okay, there's going to be 6 or 7 of them that are not going to open. There's going to be 1, 2, or 3 that are going to do the nope. We don't know who that is. We're not opening the door. Okay, or the infamous, Ring camera or whatever, the doorbell, and other, of course, variances. My point that I'm trying to make is in regards to the 3 or 4 doors every single week, 4 weeks out of the month, you're talking about 10 to 12 doors that are likely going to be opening for you, and probably more. And out of those 10 doors, I'm simplifying this, people. Out of the 10 doors, I guarantee you, look in your MLS, test me, I dare you. Okay, like I tell Lizette, Google it. Okay, and if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. But I want you to test this, what I'm sharing with you. Out of those 10 doors you go and knock on, 3 of them, I guarantee you will go back on the market immediately within 30 days. Within 30 days. 3 of the 10. Now, from that, there's going to be another 3 more that are going to go on the market in the next 90 days. That's 6 of the 10 properties that you knocked on. Now, that part is important because every month, like clockwork, I would take 1 or 2 listings, sometimes 3, at the door. Now, that's not excessive. That's not like, oh my gosh. But in taking 10 to 20 expired listings at the door, think about it. Who do you know that does that? Now, that's not the only results that I would get. Of course, I'd get the results over the phone. And over the phone, I'd get another 15, 20, or 25. So I would take on average about 20 to as many as 40. My best year ever was 42 expired listings. So this is important because this season is ripe and that window is about to close. As the market gets stronger, there's going to be less and less expireds. Okay. Any questions, comments, concerns, anything of anything based on with what I just went into? Because we got to go hot and we got to go heavy in regards to the mirroring and matching, because this is where you're going to capitalize on this. Any questions that anybody has that I can address? We're good? All right. So in this, let's talk about mirroring and matching. And if you have a question, feel free to just go ahead and jump right on in. The mirroring and matching. I'm just going to give you the what we're going to mirror and match, and what we'll do is we'll talk about it here this next week in more depthness. So we got to mirror and match. What's mirroring and matching? Okay, mirroring and matching is identifying certain things, characteristics that the other person on the other side of the phone or door has. Okay, and in that you want to be able to mirror and match exactly the way that they are. Now, there's 2 different intentions. Okay, and 2 different intentions. There is mimicking and then there's mocking. What's the difference? Again, the intent. The intent in mimicking is I want to be like you. I want to be in alignment with you. I want to be just like you. And then, of course, there's the mocking, which unfortunately in today's society, there's plenty of that. So we don't want to mock people. Okay, we know what that consists of. We want to mimic them. We want to assimilate. We want to be in alignment with them. How do we do that? Well, we look at things along the line of the tone. Okay, do I have a strong tone right now? Yeah. Or do I have a little bit of a weaker tone? Right? What about the pace? Am I talking fast or am I talking like really, really, really slow? Now, I'm probably about a 7, 8, maybe a 9. If I'm in New York, I'm talking average, maybe a little bit on the slow side. But if I'm in Alabama, if I'm in Tennessee, if I'm in, I don't know, parts of Texas, like, dude, you're slow down, slow your roll. Okay. Again, not mocking them. It's just the way that it is. How about the volume? Am I speaking loud in volume or am I speaking a little bit softer? Okay. Now, in this, it is important because as you go through, you've been there, you've done that, where all of a sudden you're like, dude, I can't hear you. I can't hear what you're saying. Okay. And it's kind of annoying. Or the other way around, like, goodness gracious, you're like, can we bring you down from a 12 to like at least a 9 in volume? Okay. What about the cadence? Okay, cadence, what's the cadence? Again, just for some simplicity, again, I love my people. I don't care where you guys are from. I love all my people. Okay, I am a man of God, and I want to make sure that we understand. I'm not making fun of anybody because when I go through this, people sometimes have a little bit of a ruffling of their feathers. Cadence is kind of, think of, for example, going back to the people from the South that had this little bit of a twang, right? So they just speak a little bit softer, a little bit slower, and they just kind of have that twang. Well, that's a little bit of that cadence. How about something that's somebody a little bit faster from like New York? Let's get this thing going. Let's get this done. Look, hey, I'm walking here, you know? So there's a little bit of that. Now, repeating and the affirming is vital. I hear this all the time. Every day I have somebody that role plays with me, and you go through, if you don't repeat and you don't affirm, it makes things weird. We're going to break all this stuff down. How about the enunciation? Enunciation, think of somebody that has an accent, okay? Think of somebody, for example, somebody that says like wash or wash. What about something from like, tomato, something along those lines? With expires, empathy is another importance, okay? Empathy. We showcased that a little bit the last couple of days. Don't come at them, be with them. You kind of almost want to be in a position of like, man, hey, I'm really sorry to hear about your dog. It sucks. Really sorry to hear about, that your property didn't sell. I mean, you're still going to be taking that job, right? That you're expecting. I mean, what are you guys going to do? See what I'm getting at? Dialect and accent, okay, which is a little bit of what goes back to cadence and enunciation. The little bit of the difference is I want you to think of like my Asian people. How about my Boricuas, my Cubano? How about the people that have this, this little accent? You want to be able to mirror and match that. Now, it is important. We understand it's not mocking. It's not mocking. It is mimicking. And when we mimic, we create a sense of alignment. Okay, create a sense of alignment. Now, any questions based on that? Anything that I can address? Anything that we have, Lisette, that I should be aware of?
It was more of a comment. So Monica, so she mentioned that she's from California, but everyone in her area is Southern. So she does try to mirror, so they feel like home, which basically goes back to what your point is, because I do feel like that does it gives us a sense of alignment with that person, whenever you are, being at the same page as them.
Yeah, for sure. Because what that basically does is, thank you, Monica, for that statement. As far as that is concerned, yeah, that there is those areas, where you're just kind of hanging out, this circle that you hang around with. Sometimes they might have a little bit of an accent, and they're all in California. I mean, I'm in California, and you'll find sometimes that you'll have this. I'll give you a perfect example. One thing that I tell, Lizette a lot is the Mexicanism. And what I mean by Mexicanism, the Mexicanism is it's really big in California. If you're in California, you're born in California, you're raised in California, you're still in California, you don't even realize it. But then you start going into New York, you start going into like Florida. Well, you start to stick out a little bit like a sore thumb because my Boricua friends, my friend Javi, he never says, "Oye, güey." He doesn't say that. So we start to feel a sense of separation. And it could even happen in our own backyard. And in our own backyard, going back to what Monica's talking about, your circle could just be just a bunch of people that have a little bit of a Southern connection. Could be a family, could be maybe the church, an organization. Sometimes there is a little bit of a personality. Think of, for example, for those of you that do go to church, like Lizette and I, when we go to church, we kind of feel a little bit of a different world. And the reason why that is just simply because of the fact that there are people in that church where there's a lot of similarities, but they're not our similarities. But that's okay. We have no problem with it because we're all, there for the exact same purpose. But there is a sense of separation. And our job is to create that connection. Well, at least if you want to be successful in with what we're trying to accomplish. Let's get some role play in. This is the purpose of this. I'm done with the soapbox. The next 2 weeks, it's pretty much going to be preferably about 5, maybe 10 minutes of the ideology, and then we'll invest the other 15, 20 minutes in regards to answering questions and, of course, going through the script. Any questions, further questions that I can address? Anybody? Nope. All right. Hopefully, you guys are getting some nuggets here. For some of you guys, this is wheelbarrows full. So let me go ahead and share the script. We do need some participation. This is the only way that this actually works. Just Put it out there. And if you're not going after expires, that's okay. Because ultimately what we're trying to do is we're trying to, let me take out the word trying. What we're doing is we are growing our skill set when it comes time to the language of sales. So I don't care if you find yourself in a position where it's like, I don't call expires. That's not what it is that I do. I'm more of a person that does open houses. Sure, cool, not a problem. But all of a sudden somebody comes into your open house and all of a sudden they go, you know what? We really like this place. But we got to sell our place first, and we're thinking about, putting our house back on the market. What do you mean putting it back on the market? Well, we did. We had it on the market a little while ago, and unfortunately, property didn't sell. The agent told us that the market was really slow, so we kind of got a little discouraged. What the heck? Ding, ding, ding. That's an expired. What do we say now? Oh goodness, I should have listened to that one coach, that one dude, Robert. Now I really don't know how to walk through this. I'm going to do my usual, half-ass approach to this. All right, enough of that. Let's get going. Who wants to give it a go? Let's get some participation. Step up to the plate. Let's go, Betty, Chanel, Sandy.
I'll try it. I've only been to two of your expired classes, so I don't know if I know what I'm doing, but I'll give it a shot.
No worries. That's it. Look, that's what we're here for. So I appreciate you stepping up. That is how we grow when we get to the next level. So I'm going to be very simple. So don't worry about it. I'm not going to give you like a hard time. I'm just going to keep it on script, stay on script, and I'm going to give you some critique at the end. That's going to be, of course, of some benefit. So here we go. You're the agent. Ring, ring. Hello.
Hi, Robert. This
Yeah.
is Monica Boswell, and I'm with TMHG Group, and I saw that you had a home that you were trying to sell. Are you still trying to sell that house over on 123 Main Street?
Go back on script. Okay. So the very first thing I want you to work on is I want you, if I say hello, you say hello. If I say
Okay.
hi, you say hi. If I say howdy, you say,
Howdy.
there we go. That's the
Okay.
first thing. Number two is just read the script. I know it doesn't feel like you, but just read the script. And the reason I want to share that with you is because you literally took the very first question, when are you planning on putting your property back on the market, which is an open-ended question, to a close-ended question, which is going to give you the result of a yes or a no. And what do you think you're going to get?
A yes or no?
Yeah. So based on the question you asked, we're going to get 99% of the time it's going to be a no. Okay. So we don't ask yes or no questions unless you know the answer to it. So I just want that to be a general rule of thumb. But let's start from the top. Mirror and match the way that I open up the phone call, and then just read the script. Just keep it right to the script. So here we go. Ring ring. Hello.
Hello, is
Yeah.
this Robert?
Uh-huh.
Hi, my name is Monica, and I'm a realtor with TMHG. I'm sure you've gotten a lot of calls by now regarding your property. I was simply calling to see when are you planning on putting your property back on the market?
Yeah, we're thinking about it, but if anything, we're probably going to do something later on down the road.
Really? Okay, well, when you sell your home, where do you plan on going next?
Well, we are. We're definitely going to be making a move over to San Diego. So we'll get there by the end of this year at some point.
I love San Diego. I went to college there. That's exciting. You're gonna love it when you get there. How soon are you hoping to get there?
Well, I need to report to a job here at the end of April, so I
Ooh.
need to physically be there by then. But anytime's fine. I really honestly don't mind the commute, but 2.5 hour commute back and forth is not ideal.
Wow, the job sounds, is it an exciting job? Are you looking forward to it?
I mean, I've been with the company now for about 30 years, and they're opening up a new branch, and they just called on me, and I guess I'm by default the person that's going to be taking charge of that branch.
Well, you're gonna kill it. Tell me something. What I'm sorry to really hear that you guys didn't really sell your home the last time, but what do you think stopped your home from selling?
Okay, so there we go. Thank you for volunteering. Let me give you a little bit of critique, but before I do, Lizette, what are some insights you can go ahead and share with Monica here?
I only wrote to ask more open-ended questions. That way it doesn't lead to a yes or no. I don't, let me see the last line. That's pretty much what I wrote. It's just open-ended questions.
So that we're on the same page, Monica, I don't want to assume, but you know what open-ended questions start with.
Give me some examples, please.
Sure, there we go. So we want to ask questions along the line of who, what, when, where, why, and how. Let me give you the example. When are you planning on putting your property back on the market? The answer could be, well, we're thinking about doing it right away. Maybe we'll give it a couple months. We'll wait until the end of the year. We don't know if we're going to. We're not going to. All kinds of variances. Versus, are you thinking about putting your house back on the market? What are the options? Yes or no? And we're going to get no more often than not. So going back to the very beginning of that, Monica, we don't want to ask those type of questions because it puts us in a position, three strikes, you're out. And right out the gate, we get a no, boom, you're done. You're toast. You're put in the corner. Now, on a scale of 1 to 10, I was probably like a 5 or a 6 when it comes time to expire. So I wasn't like this 10. Second thing is the repeating and the approving. When I sit there and say something along the line of, I'm going over there for a job transfer. Oh, so you're going over there for a job transfer. I got that. You can ask a follow-up question because the elite will ask questions between the questions, meaning, when are you planning on putting your property back on the market? Well, we don't know. We're thinking about doing it later. Okay, so you're thinking about doing it later. I understand. Now, when you sell this home, where are you going to next? Well, we're going over to San Diego. Okay, well, what's the benefit of going over San Diego? Oh, starting a new job. Well, that's pretty exciting. I mean, is it? As an example. And that's a setup question, by the way. Well, no, it's not. Oh, it's not? Okay, well, tell me a little bit more about that. What do you mean you're making that move over to San Diego? What's the benefit of this? Well, they're kind of forcing me. If I want to stay with the company, I got 2 years left before I retire, and now I have to go over to San Diego to do this. I mean, I love San Diego, but I don't want to finish my days in, being in a completely different city. So number three is be a little bit careful in terms of the response. If I'm excited about it, be excited with me. But if I'm not excited, just like the example I just gave you, we don't want to assume from that perspective. Okay. So thank you for participating. Anybody else that I can get to participate? We got enough for at least an opening. Come on. That's what we're here for, everybody. We got to work on our skills. Okay, so here we go. So Lizette, let me have you, if I may, please. I'm going to go through very quickly, and we're just going to I'll be the agent, and that way I can go ahead and showcase with what it is that I'm trying to get you guys to accomplish. So here we go. Ring, ring.
Hello.
Hello, Lizette.
Yes.
Lizette, hi, my name is Robert. I'm a local realtor with Blank Blank Realty. I'm sure you've gotten tons of calls by now regarding your property, and I was simply calling to see when are you planning on putting your property back on the market?
Right now this isn't old expired, right? So
Yeah.
it's been okay. Well, we actually decided to rent it out.
Okay, so you decided to rent it out. Did you rent it out after all?
Not yet. We're still looking for some people.
Oh, okay. So it's on the market now for rental. Is that what I'm hearing?
Yes.
Is that your first option, or were you preferring to sell it?
Well, yeah, we're preferring to sell it. I mean, I'm going through um a separation, and so we were hoping to sell it, but I mean, we ended up just kind of let's just keep it.
Yeah, so just keeping it as a rental, but it sounds like as if that's more of a plan B option. Lizette, if you could get a price similar to what it is that you guys were asking, would you be open to putting it back on the market?
Probably not at this time.
Not at this time. So when you do put yourself in a position, you're going to rent this thing out, you do end up finding a tenant, and you guys make the decision to sell it later on down the road, what were you guys planning on doing with the proceeds then?
Oh, we were just gonna buy our next investment property.
Next investment property. Okay. So you got a separation that's going on. You guys are looking to continue your investments together?
No,
Okay, got it. So was this your investment or his investment?
it was ours.
Okay, got it. So how soon are you wanting to get to this next investment?
I mean, right now we're just looking for a tenant.
Okay.
So, I mean, unless you have somebody that's interested, yeah, we're kind of holding off for now.
I mean, I see here it's a 4 bedroom, 2 bath home. It's 2,000 square feet. You guys were asking $480,000. Is that still the
Mhm.
case?
Yeah, I mean, that's kind of what we wanted.
Well, let me do this, Lizette. What I want to do is I want to take a look at the home because it's got great pictures. It looks like a great property. It's actually pretty fairly priced. I want to be able to evaluate as to why it didn't sell. And after we meet, if it does still make sense for you to continue renting it out, have at it. But I just want to give you a second opinion. Should I stop by today at 4 or should I stop by at 5 instead?
I mean, you're not the first one to do that. I don't know. What are you gonna do? How
Yeah,
much
no,
do you charge?
yeah, that's perfectly fine. I just need about 15 minutes to share with you with what it is that I do to sell homes. Are you familiar with the techniques, by the way, that I use?
No.
Oh, that's perfectly fair. You know what? Let me do this. I just need about 15 minutes. I can stop by at 4, or would you prefer that I stop by at 5 o'clock to share with you those techniques?
Well, how much do you charge?
That's a fair question. We'll go over all of that when we get together. Is there a certain commission that you had in mind?
Uh, well, I mean, I don't want to pay a whole lot. I mean, the last person took 5%.
Yeah. Yeah. And you were on the market for 6 months. How did that work?
It didn't.
Let's go over the different options. We're going to go over the fives. We're going to go over the sixes. We're going to go over all of the options. I'll tell you this, Lizette. You're not going to pay me a dollar more than what you feel as if though I'm worth. Would that be fair?
Okay.
Yeah. Did you want to do it at 4 or would you rather do it at 5 o'clock, by the way?
Probably 5 would be best.
Right, there we go. It doesn't matter what response I get. I'm going to be able to take care of that answer. So, all right. Well, anyways, let's go ahead and move on. Let's get this thing wrapped up. As promised, I always want to start and finish on time. But before I do, I want to make sure that I make a quick announcement for, again, all of my LA people, all of my OC people, all the people that are in the Inland Empire. I'm going to be coming out to Ranch Cucamonga. I'm going to be doing an all-day class. I am offering for the first 50 people. This is free, complimentary. Okay. But once we get to 50 people, it's going to go up to 99 bucks, which isn't a whole lot, but that's going to, of course, cover the additional expenses. So we got about 34, 35 already reserved seats. We only got about a dozen left. Okay. That's going to be next Thursday. Ranch Cucamonga, 9 to 4 at the amazing Sanctity Hotel. We're going to be rooftop. It's going to be a beautiful place. I'd love the opportunity to see you there. We do have the information on my website, so thank you, Andrew, for that. So I'll see you guys there, and if not, I'll see you guys next Tuesday, 7:30 in the morning. As always, let's keep working on this. Let's maximize, make you more money. Go take a listing or 5. I will see you then. Have a good one.